Hello, students. This is a short video for my Management 205 class, spring semester 2021, an overview of the major concepts to be covered on the midterm. From Chapter 1. First, you should know what management is, the levels of management, the functions of management, the skills that managers need and what they mean, the major roles that managers play. And under the skills, that would be conceptual skills, technical skills, and human skills. Under the levels, you should have top, middle, and first line. And under the functions of management, planning, organizing, leading, and controlling. Also, you should know what the term team leader is and how it's different from a first line manager or supervisor. Chapter 2, the history of management. Make sure you know who Frederick W. Taylor is, the father of scientific management, what scientific management is, and what the term soldiering means. You should also be familiar with Henry Gantt and the Gantt chart. Human relations management was started by the Hawthorne studies. You should be familiar with the Hawthorne studies and Elton Mayo. What do we mean by systems management? The difference between a closed system and an open system. Last thing from that chapter. What is a motion study? And what is a rate buster? Chapter 3 is the chapter on organizational environments and culture. So, make sure you know the forces in the general environment and also the forces in the specific environment. Right? The general environment, the economy, technological, social, cultural, and political legal. In terms of the specific environment, you have customers, competitors, suppliers, industry regulations, and advocacy groups. You should also be familiar with organizational culture and what makes up culture. Values, beliefs, heroes, etc. Also, the difference between a simple environment and a complex environment. Those are the major concepts from Chapter 3. Chapter 4, Ethics and Social Responsibility. This is a shorter chapter. Make sure you know what ethics are and business ethics. Also, the code of ethics. What is a whistleblower? What do we mean by social responsibility? And the two views the stakeholder model and the stakeholder model and the shareholder model and the stakeholder model and how they're different. I already said whistleblower. That's pretty much it from that chapter. Chapter 5 is actually a rich chapter on planning and decision making. You should know, first of all, what is a plan and the different types of plan. And when I say different types of plans, you need to know strategic plans, tactical plans, operational plans, and contingency plans. Also, what is a SMART goal? You should be familiar with group decision-making techniques. That would include electronic brainstorming, the Delphi technique, and my favorite, the nominal group technique. Also, management by objectives. What are standing plans? You should know the steps in the rational decision-making model and the term satisficing. What is groupthink? Okay. Let's move on to chapter 6. Organizational strategy. You need to know the different levels of strategy: corporate, industry level, and firm level. Make sure you are familiar with the BCG, Boston Consulting Group matrix. You should be able to define each member. For example, a cash cow is a product in a slow growth industry with a large market share. A star is a product in a fast growing industry where you have a big market share. You should also be familiar with a situational analysis or SWOT analysis, a planning tool that allows a firm to look at their internal strengths and weaknesses and external threats, opportunities and threats. Let's see what else. I think those are the major things from this chapter. You should know what the term differentiation means. Chapter 7 will not be represented on the exam. Chapter 8, however, is a rich chapter, but it can be sort of simplified. You need to know, one, why do we do global business? And then the methods for conducting global business. In addition, in terms of the methods, import, export, franchise, licensing, joint ventures, direct foreign investment. Now, under direct foreign investment, you should also know that firms that are involved in direct foreign investment are called multinational firms. You need to know the difference between local adaptation and a standardized approach. You need to know barriers to trade, tariffs, quotas, embargoes. Make sure you're familiar with the WTO, World Trade Organization, GATT, the General Agreement on Tariffs and Trades, NAFTA, the North American Free Trade Agreement. You should also be familiar with policy uncertainty and political uncertainty. I think that pretty much wraps up this chapter. Oh, make sure you know about culture, national culture. We already talked about organizational culture. Last chapter to be represented on the exam will be Chapter 9, Designing Adaptive Organizations. What are the biggies? Know what an org chart shows, and you should be familiar with the different ways to departmentalize. You should also know different types of authority, the difference between line authority and staff authority. In terms of departmentalization, you should know you can departmentalize by function, by product, by customer, or by location, or a combination. You should know what a matrix is. You should know the difference between a centralized organization, where all the important decisions are made by top managers, and a decentralized organization, where decisions are made at every level in management. You should know what the term span of management means. Unity of command. Let's see. I think those are the major things. Oh, also job specialization and what is the rationale for it. Those are the major concepts that you need to cover. Of course, it's not 100% of everything, but if you've read the chapters, you should do well. Good luck on the exam, and have a great day.